name is Bethany Hartman. I'm in Education 623 in the D term for summer 2019. I'm here in my art studio. I'm teaching a class for 5th graders in the visual arts. I'll give you a quick tour of the studio so you can kind of see the space that I'm working in. So there's some paintings that I worked on. Here's ones that I'm currently working on. So welcome into my studio and into my home. I've already said this briefly, but this is a presentation for 5th graders, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the class. So students, I just want to say welcome, come on in. I want you guys to go ahead and find your seat. Don't touch the circles that are on your desk yet. I just want you guys to leave them alone and turn your attention over to the whiteboard over here. So, as you guys can see, we're going to go over an overview of what we're going to be talking about today, and then we'll move on into the lesson. So, we're going to do 4 things today with the time we have. So we've got 40 minutes as a class together, and we're going to break that up. So the first thing we're going to do is a little game. So we're going to do a color spy game. So don't touch the circles, those are for that later. When we're done with that, we're going to go and look at a few terms that have to do with color. And we're going to learn a little bit about color, how they work. We're going to do some practice with the terms, so to help you guys see what that looks like in practice, and then we're going to move on. You guys are going to create your own project today. So starting off, now's the time that you guys can look at those circles that are on your table. So in each table, I've got 3 in here. I've given you guys all a category of different colors on there in each circle, and they're magnetized. I want you guys as a team in each of your tables to choose 3 colors that you think are going to match our image today. So on the whiteboard, and you can see on your table, I've enlarged one there too. We're looking at Picasso's painting from 1902 called The Soup. So there's a bunch of different things that he's used. It's from his blue period. So a lot of people just think of his blue period and see, okay, we're going to see blue. But we're going to look at it a little bit more today and see what more than blue can we see. So we're going to play an I Spy game. So go ahead and get in your table, get in your groups, and I want you to find 3 colors per table. When you've got them, I want you to raise your hand, and I'm going to have you come on up to the board and we'll place them in together. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first table. Thank you for finding your table group. So we're going to go ahead and fill them in. So here's our picture enlarged. You can see that. I've already given you the white and the black. That's kind of a freebie there, and we're going to fill in around that. So table 1, why don't you guys go ahead and come up, bring me your 3 that you think are going to fit in. So we're going to start with the first one. We've got our first one. We're going to start with the lighter colors, kind of staying up with the white. So awesome, good job there. We've got a nice blue there. Awesome, good one for the second one, a middle blue. And a darker one, almost looks black, but not quite there yet. So awesome, good job, table 1. You can go ahead and go back to your seats. Table 2, I want you to come up. Awesome, so table 2, perfect. You gave me your first one, you got it in the right position. Awesome, well, maybe we call that a sage color. Yeah, let's say this is a lighter sage color. Second one, we've got, looks like maybe an olive green here. Good job, we see some olive greens over and through this area of the painting. And our last one, awesome job guys, you got it all through. We got more of a forest green down here by the black area, and so we can kind of see that in the shadow area here. Table 2, you can go back to your spots, and table 3, I want you to come up. Bring me your top 3. Awesome, thank you guys. Yep, you got the first one. Got a nice pale yellow, we see that in the highlights of the girl's face. And I think it's her mom's face up here too. Awesome, good job. Second one, awesome. So we've got more of a golden color. So we see this down in the highlights, down in the ground area, some of the shadows of the girl's arms. Good job. And our third one. Awesome. Again, kind of a green, almost a gold color. We see a lot of that in the shadowing around the girl's feet, around the jawline. Awesome job, guys. Table 3, go ahead and take your seats. So thanks for helping me fill that out today. Good job looking at that. We're going to look at this a little bit closer. So I've got them arranged, we put them together on the board here. How would you guys describe the arrangement of those colors? Go ahead and call out a few ways that you would describe that. I hear that we're arranging by color. Yeah, good. So we've got the blues, the greens, and the yellows. Good job, yeah. Looking for a few more. We've got them organized. Yeah, certainly they're organized. We've got them into lined up into their areas, so good job there. And yeah, the one that I'm actually looking for, thank you for helping me out with that. They're arranged light to dark. So I kind of mentioned that at the beginning, right? I gave you the freebie of the white and the black. Awesome, so they're arranged light to dark. Another way that we can describe that, light to dark, is using the word value. So I'm gonna go ahead and write this up on the board for us. And I want you guys to listen to this description. So value deals with lightness and darkness of color. Successful works of art have a range of values. So let's go back and look at Picasso's painting. So if value deals with light to dark, we see some of the colors that he's got here. Let's go ahead and see if we can point out a few light to dark and see kind of how many he's working with. So we've got some of the whites. We've got, we've got, yep, some of the yellows that we pointed out again. So that's 2 we're looking at here. Maybe let's just stick with the blue. If we're in the blue period, we're gonna stick with that one. And I want you guys to tell me how many different blue values that you're seeing. So good, yeah, the girl's dress, she's got some highlights in there, so that's a light blue. We see, yep, the wall area, that's a little bit darker. We can kind of see that shade right through here that we picked. Good job. So that's 2. 3, yeah, good. We've got that shadow up there. That's definitely getting towards the darker color blue. So we've got 3. The mom's robe, yeah, and some of her highlights, it's actually a dark blue. It's a little bit darker than the shadow up here. Good, so that's 4, I think. We've got 5, the color of her hair. Good, that's 5. Almost getting black. The outside corner of her robe, good, yeah, that's almost black as well. So looking at 6, the girl's hair, we can say that that's also blue, you know, that's 7. So there can be quite a different values that we're seeing just within something that's called the blue piece. There's already so many different types of values within the blue color. Let's go back. So value, we know, is just an arrangement, deals with light and dark in colors. So specifically, we've got another word that deals with our lighter values. So light values are actually called tints. So if this is yellow, this is a tint of yellow. So this is a lighter color of yellow. And our third term today is shades. So that one's pretty obvious. If you see your shadow, you can kind of think about that as your shade. So it's a darker value. Just like your shadow is the darker image on the cement, that's what a shade is. So it's a darker value. So we think of, here's your, let's go back to the blue. If here's your blue, solid blue, this is gonna be a shade of blue, so a darker shade of blue. Awesome, good job guys. So we're gonna switch topics a little bit. We're still gonna look at color, but we're gonna look at it in a little bit of a different way. So how many of you guys recognize this image? You've had that in other classes. Good, yeah, all of our hands should be up. We've seen this a lot. What's that called? Can someone give me a name for that? Yeah, you can go ahead and shout it out. Yeah, good job. Yeah, so that's a color wheel. And we're gonna look at some different terms. You guys might know this. It might be a review so for some of you. For others of you, it might be new. So we're just gonna go over all of that together. So we're gonna start out with what's called a primary color. So you can see I've labeled that on the board for us. So we've got 3 primary colors. We've got yellow, which is here, red over here, and blue. So we've got 3 primary colors, and those are our base. You would really start out with those. We can use those as a combination to make other colors, and we're gonna see how those can work together to create other colors. So we've got 3 primary colors, and out of those primary colors, we've got what's called secondary colors. So secondary colors, I'm gonna point those out on the board for us. So we've got this solid green color here. We've got this solid orange color here. We've got this nice purple shade here. So secondary colors, there's 3 primary colors and really 3 main secondary colors. So secondary colors, you're doing 1 part primary equals your secondary color. So 1 part yellow, 1 part blue equals your secondary of green. So we're mixing together primary colors to get a secondary color. That makes sense, right? 1, 2, primary, secondary. We're gonna move on and look at ways that secondary colors can be further combined to give us what's called tertiary colors. So tertiary colors is our 3rd level on the color wheel. This is where we're getting a secondary to mix with a primary to give us a new shade. So we've got a lot more tertiary colors than we had primary or secondary. We've got this yellowy orange color. We've got more of a burnt orange, almost red color here, so that's 2. 3, we've got a nice pink color here, but that's, you know, doing our red and our purple together will give us that nice shade. Moving over here towards the blue side, if we mix our purple, not with red, but with a little bit more blue, we're gonna get a darker shade of purple. Not quite blue, but it's kind of gonna mix the two together. Then if you go over here, you mix the primary blue with the secondary of that solid green, we're gonna get a blue-green tertiary color here. And then our last one, if we mix the solid secondary green with our bright yellow, we're gonna get a really vivid green here. That's another tertiary color. So our tertiary colors is the next level, and that's in between a secondary and a primary. So that's those two mixed together to give us that third color. So we're gonna go back and think about this soup picture that we saw earlier. We arranged the colors out here. So looking at the soup, how might we describe some of the colors that we identified earlier? Are we seeing any primary colors here? Are we seeing any secondary colors? What's going on here? Tell me. Yeah, good. So we already mentioned it earlier. We've got some primary colors with the yellow. We mentioned some of the tints and some of the shades. Good. Yeah, that's a good eye there. So we've got a primary color at least. Yeah, another primary. Good. Blue with the blue period of his paintings, his blue period. Yeah, that's good. What I think is interesting with his blue period is what do we see in a lot of the shadows areas? Would we say that if it's a yellow and a blue combined, what would we describe that as? Remember, then go back to your color wheel. If we're combining a yellow and a blue, yeah, good. We've got a lot of secondary colors here, so that green color. So you've got some secondary, and even if you think about, he's probably even got some tertiary colors going on here. So if we take his bright yellow color and if he's mixing it with some of his blue, he can get, you know, more of a vivid blue-green color in other ones. So yeah, we've got a lot of different things going on here, but I think that's good. I think if we're gonna make it simple, we're gonna say he's got a couple primary colors and maybe 1 or 2 secondary colors. But yeah, you guys are good. He's got a lot more going on than just that. So we're gonna keep going on here. I'll be honest with you guys, your color wheel and value scales, those can be a little bit difficult to mix those by yourself. So we're gonna practice that before we go into our actual piece that you guys are gonna take home at the end of the year. So here's your worksheet that you guys are gonna get that's provided to you. And I've got a 9 scale. So 9 scale is really the most you can max out a color in to get those different tints and shades of a color. So I've given you 3 rows. You only have to do 1. So here's an example of what I'm expecting you guys to complete. You only have to do 1 of the 3 rows, but you can do all 3 if you need more practice or maybe you mess up. And I also want you guys to color in the color wheel for me and practice mixing those. So in each of your tables, you guys have some water with some paint. And you guys also have, I already mixed out your acrylic colors. You've got, I'm gonna give you 5 colors today. So you're gonna get black and white. You're gonna get the 3 primary colors. So red, yellow, and blue. And that's all I'm gonna give you today. You guys are gonna have to mix and make your own. So if you guys are familiar with acrylics, we're gonna do a quick little video on how to do that. So they're gonna be water soluble. You guys can use your brush in the water. And it can make it a little bit more thin. So if I was gonna start out with my worksheet, let's say I wanted to do red values. So my darkest is my middle shade is gonna be just this solid red color. My darkest, I'm gonna take in the black and mix it in with the red, and it's almost gonna be black. And I can keep lightening it up from there. You can mix, maybe you're going for the lighter shades. You're gonna go with white, maybe a little bit of red to get some of your lighter shades. And if you need to wash out your brush, go ahead and wash it really good in the water and dab off the sides before you keep going. So if I were you guys, what I would probably do is I would start with, in the middle of it, just do your pure color. Go lighter. It's easier to lighten up a color sometimes. So mix in with your whites and then mix in with your blacks. When you've got that, you're gonna raise your hand and I'm gonna check that and